The broadcast is now starting. All attendees
good evening, everyone. Welcome to
mode.
tonight's City Council meeting. My apologies for the 2-minute delay. I kindly ask our city clerk to please take the roll call.
Bruno? Here. Burkhart?
Here.
Ruby?
Here.
Caven?
Here.
Kilberg?
Here.
Kasserag?
Here.
Malaja?
Here.
Marks?
Here.
Mayor?
Here.
Swanson?
Here. Tonight, as we do all nights with city council meetings before us, we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to ask the distinguished Madam President of the Geneva Community Chest, Christy Deans, to please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's better. Thank you, Christy. Folks, before we begin our business tonight, including some special recognitions, I do want to begin and ask for the council and the community's indulgence regarding some sad news that all of you are probably familiar with. Our good friend and firefighter, Gavin Hayes, passed away last week. Battalion Chief Hayes was a 27-year veteran of the Geneva Fire Department. He's a 1990 graduate of Geneva Community High School. After high school, Battalion Chief Hayes joined the Army and flew Huey helicopters. Came to work as a paid-on-call firefighter in Geneva, and then matriculated up to the ranks of Battalion Chief. Gavin, of course, was a friend to all of us, and perhaps most notably, he served this community by protecting us and our properties for nearly 30 years. Sadly, he leaves behind his wife, Christina, his daughter, Jared, and his son, Eli. Formal ceremonies paying respects to Battalion Chief Hayes are this Friday from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock at Chapel Street Church, and the funeral is at noon on Saturday at Chapel Street Church. For those of you who have not, or perhaps not witnessed, a funeral of this kind, or a ceremony of this kind, and it indeed is a ceremony to celebrate Gavin's life, you will see, you will experience, you will witness, and I think you will be impressed by the firefighters who will turn out to honor Gavin. And beyond just fighting fires, he was also a mentor to some of the younger men and women in the fire department. I believe Mrs. Hayes is tuning in tonight. She had granted me permission to begin this meeting with the moment of silence. We had the flags lowered in the city of Geneva as well. And I think it's only appropriate that we share a little bit of humor about Battalion Chief Hayes. When he was promoted, the firefighters of the Geneva Fire Department were delighted because as part of that promotion, it meant that he didn't have to drive the fire truck anymore. Apparently, firefighter Hayes had a history of dinging the fire truck. And it became quite the joke within the fire department that the only reason he was promoted was in order to save. So it was quite the celebration. And I don't know if the chief's here tonight or not. He would hope to be. He's probably tuning in online. The fire department has suffered a tremendous loss, a real kick in the gut. And if any of you ever saw Gavin, you knew how special he was. Alderman Mayer is a classmate of Battalion Chief Hayes. All of us have benefited from his service. And I would just kindly ask that we just have a moment of silence to send to Christina, Jared, and of course, Eli. Let them know that we love them and we're thinking about them. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, item 3A is to proclaim October 21st, 2021 as Geneva Community Chest Day in the city of Geneva. And we, of course, have our Pledge of Allegiance leader, Christy Deans, here tonight, who I know wants to say a few words and introduce your guests from the Community Chest.
Come on.
Oh, welcome. Absolutely. And Christy's also a Geneva High School graduate.
Proudly a Geneva High School graduate. I have 17 of our Community Chest board members are here, so
That
I'm
is
very
amazing.
proud to, we take this very serious, as
I
you
know you
can,
do.
as you can see.
Here, I'll go over here.
Do you want me to announce who they are, or?
Oh,
just-
sure,
Oh,
absolutely.
all right. We have Jill Johnson,
Could provide addresses and social security numbers.
Jean Gaines, Clyde Jones,
Clyde.
Tim Nelson, Lori Cohorst, Kay Yotes, Cookie Olson, Mary Rogers, Maureen Radecki, Jeff Rodewald, Steve Lilly, and Mark Rehnquist. Also my cousin.
Yeah, don't forget about
Oh, I'm so sorry. Dean Kilberg and Brad Kosarog also. I'll hear from them. Well, on behalf of Geneva Community Chest, we are proud to be celebrating 50 years of servicing our community. What an honor it is to be standing here representing all these board of directors of Geneva Community Chest. All of us are grateful for the privilege of working side by side with each other who are passionate and caring directors on our board. All of us freely volunteer our time, resources, and talents to raise funds to help improve the lives of those in need. Because we operate entirely with volunteers, we have no staff, office building, rent, or related cost. Virtually all the funds we raise goes directly to the charities we believe in that need it the most. Since its inception, Geneva Community Chest has continued to remain an independent, community-based organization and has not become a part of or affiliated with any national fundraising organization. Over the past 50 years, we are proud to say that Geneva Community Chest has raised and awarded more than $5 million to support local 501c3 charitable organizations that help promote the health and well-being of our community with our events such as our golf outing, our annual campaign, our Donut Dash 5K, and our annual wine event. We'd like to thank the council and all the citizens of Geneva that have supported Geneva Community Chest over the past 50 years, and we look forward to the future. Thank you.
Are there any comments or questions for Madam President or any members of the board? Alderman Kosarog?
Hi, Christy.
Hi.
I was wondering if you might share some examples of donations and organizations that we've given to that we've supported over the years.
Sure. The first one that comes to mind that I think we touch most of Genevans that have children is that we have partnered with Northwestern Medicine, and Geneva Community Chest pays for all their bike helmets. Northwestern does the presentation on safety first, and we donate the helmets. So I think that's the one that we really touch on a lot of Geneva people. Another one that we touch is Fox Valley Hands for Hope, which used to be hospice. That's another organization in Geneva that we sponsor. Kane County Senior Council, which is the Meals on Wheels. Tri-City Health Partnership, providing services to under-insured or no-insured individuals. So those are just 4 of the 24 that we like to help. So we're proud of that.
And I was wondering how, of course I know the answer to this, but how did Geneva Community Chest fare through COVID, and how are we doing now?
We are really doing well. We have to say the community has been so generous. Our annual campaign received so many donations. It helped in the fact that we were not able to have our 5K. It was virtual. It was not, we didn't raise as much funds as we would have. Our golf outing was good because by then people could get outside. Our wine gala we did a little differently with partnering with some of the restaurants, so it wasn't quite as well attended. But the annual campaign, people came through and we were thrilled, and we are so thankful.
Great.
That got us through it.
Well, there was a good article in the Kane County Chronicle this morning, I think, on the 50th anniversary that I think was very well done. And I would just like to say that I'm proud to be part of it. It's a great group of people, really a pleasure to work with and raise money that, again, like Christy said, goes 100% to our community. So.
And our annual campaign letter's going out in November. So everybody look for that.
Any other softball questions, Alderman Coster?
Nope, that's it.
Very good. Alderman Kilberg, you're a proud member of the board. Any comments?
I think I've been associated with it for about 12 years. It's a great organization, a lot of great volunteers. The organization's membership or its board of directors is strong, very active, and I hope we have another 50 years here in Geneva. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
That's pressure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alderwoman Burkhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to say how fortunate we are in a community that's so proud of our local businesses and local restaurants and local feel that we have an organization like Geneva Community Chest with such deep roots in the community. There's been, we hear about controversies at the national level with charities and the percentage that go to administrative costs and overhead. And so to have a group like all of you who donate your time and that money and the funding really goes directly back into our community, I think a lot of towns would be pretty jealous and would love to have something like Geneva Community Chest. So thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do have a proclamation, which of course proclaims October 21st as Geneva Community Chest Day in the city. Is there a motion to so proclaim? Alderman Swanson makes the motion.
Second.
Alderman Bruno makes the second. You got carved out of there, Kasserag. What the? It's like the president's tired of you talking. It's like all in favor of the proclamation, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Look at that.
Awesome. Thank you.
And of course, Thursday night's the big dinner.
Thursday night, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
How's this shaping up for the dinner? Good?
It's coming very well, yes. Oh, yes. We're
The 50th anniversary dinner,
50th
folks,
anniversary
is being held
dinner.
at Mill Race.
No. No worries. And everyone's invited. Yes. Everybody.
Is our friend Paula Schmidt here from the Chamber of Commerce? Oh, there she is. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, item 3B as in boy is to consider approval of a special event application from the Geneva Chamber of Commerce for the 2021 Christmas Walk and related activities in December. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Caven, seconded by Alderman Mayer. Is there anything you'd like to add, Paula, regarding anything special, or just?
One quick second.
Absolutely. Take your time. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh, my Lord.
We're really excited to come back to the council again this year, back with our Christmas walk and our house tour approval from you, hopefully. A few things that I just wanted to announce, a couple of changes and a couple of additions so that you know. There'll be a change with the Santa house. The house was donated probably in the early 80s. So there was updates and work on it through many of the years, but after sitting out for a couple years, it's in very bad disrepair, so we are not going to be able to use that anymore. So it is being retired. We have a company called Junk Luggers, which is taking it apart, which has already taken it apart, I should say, and is donating a lot of the pieces to Habitat for Humanity and other charitable organizations for us. So it's going somewhere good, and the rocking chair went to my daughter, and she feels like there's something special about that, so it's very neat. So that's one change. Hogan Design and Construction, one of our members, will be recreating our Santa house in the visitor center. So stop by. It'll be a very unique experience and very exciting for us. And in honor of Graham's founder, Bob Untitled, the parade on Christmas Walk evening is being named Bob's Candy Cane Parade. So we're going to honor him with that. And we hope that our mayor will be there to be the MC again.
Absolutely.
Our merchants had asked us to continue a little bit more of the Christmas Walk spirit into the next day and next weekend, since Christmas Walk was really just that first Friday. So we're adding a couple of events, music around town on that Saturday, December 4th, different caroling groups and holiday bands. Saturday, December 11th, we'll again have our popular Cocoa Crawl, and we're adding to that a holiday caroling tent on Campbell. So people will be able to set times and come and carol with their families. So we thought that would be a nice addition on that Saturday. House tour tickets are selling briskly, and that's a good thing, because the money that we make from our house tour goes to decorating Geneva for the holidays. So we're very excited. It's coming along very well. We have some COVID issues with that, so people will need to wear masks. 3 of the 5 homes will be just on one level this year. But I think we're ready to go, and people are very excited about it. We're still looking for volunteers. So anyone out here, we'd love to have you in the house. So we hope to see everybody there. And does anyone have any additional questions at all?
Any questions for Ms. Schmidt? Oh, Alderwoman Burkhart.
Thank you, Mayor. I know I've had friends asking me about the Christmas walk and if the tree lighting is going to go on and about Santa and all that. So I know people are going to be really excited to hear all this news, and we'll be putting it on their calendar. So.
Good. And when we get the approval, it'll go out in the in PR, so that everyone, because we are hearing it now that there's no house tours and no Christmas walk. So hopefully we can get that out.
Anyone else? We have a motion by Alderman Caven. We have a second by Alderman Mayer to approve this special event application as so stated. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any Grinches? Anybody opposed? Congratulations, Paula. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, item 3C is a public hearing concerning the intent of the City of Geneva to issue not to exceed $8,300,000 of general obligation bonds, parenthetically, alternative revenue source bonds. I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing on this matter and this matter alone. Is there such a motion? Alderman Marks makes the motion. Second. Alderman Kosarog makes the second. Voice vote sufficient, I believe, to open the public hearing. All in favor of opening the public hearing, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. The public hearing is opened on item 3C. Are there any questions or comments from anyone joining us tonight, either here, remotely, or from the dais? I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Alderman Kosarog makes that motion. Alderman Marks makes that second. All in favor of closing the public hearing, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Fantastic. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, item 3D is the public hearing on the execution of an annexation agreement, which was continued from October 4, 2021. Prior to entertaining a motion to open this public hearing, and prior to requiring a second and taking the vote, I do have a statement to read. For those of you tuning in and those of you joining us in the council chamber, I have already advised Alderman Kilberg and Alderwoman Ruby of the statement I am about to read. I did not have the time to advise the other council members, so this will come as news to you. At 4:34 this afternoon, I received a phone call from the tenant of the proposed facility, otherwise known as Geneva Farms North. That tenant indicated to me that they are no longer interested. They are no longer interested in establishing operations at that site. At 5:17, I received another phone call. Present during that phone call was City Administrator Stephanie Dawkins, Director of Community Development David DeGroot, and Director of Economic Development Kathleen Timoshenko. At 5:17, they confirmed, in fact, that they were no longer interested. At 6:27 p.m. tonight, we received confirmation from our friends at Crow Holdings, the applicant, that they too, in recognition of the tenant no longer being interested, would still like to have the public hearing on this matter because it has to be done. It is a requirement under statutory and City of Geneva ordinances. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, before entertaining a motion and a second and a vote to open the public hearing, I believe Alderwoman Ruby might have a statement to make.
Thank you, Mayor Burns. So with what we've heard tonight, your voices have been resoundingly heard. You guys have done an amazing job on research and showing dedication and caring about your community. It's been a lot of work, but it's been so rewarding to see everything come together and everyone come together. So thank you. So with that, nothing else needs to be said tonight. The applicant has decided that they're not interested in this parcel. We, as a council, still do need to vote as a formality, but the applicant is off the table. So I think it's going to be a pretty simple vote.
Alderwoman Ruby, just to confirm, it's not the applicant per se, as is the tenant?
The end user.
Just to clarify,
right.
yes.
Sorry. Okay. Yep.
Just for clarity, folks.
Thank you. Is there anything else?
No, I would just echo what Alderwoman Ruby has said. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know that the public hearing tonight is designed for you. It is not designed for the city council members. In light of the news we have here tonight, and I will certainly recognize Alderman Kilberg if he'd like to say anything, I would like to stress that it's, I believe, in everyone's best interest, not the least of which all of you, that we expedite the public hearing in light of the news received, and we move on with additional business. Alderman Kilberg, I'd be happy to turn the floor over to you if you'd like.
I agree with Becky and the mayor, and I don't think I have anything else to add.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that, is there a motion to open the public hearing on this matter? Alderman Marks makes that motion. Alderman Maladra makes the second. And just to clarify, ladies and gentlemen, the public hearing is opened for discussion and testimony from our residents, our citizens, our neighbors on the execution of an agreement continued from October 4, 2021. Oh yeah, forgive me. We all in favor of opening the public hearing, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The hearing is open for that purpose and that purpose only. If you have something you'd like to share, ladies and gentlemen, please join us at the podium. There is no sign-up list. Whoever raises their hand, we'll just welcome, sir.
My name is Jerome Litza. I live at 669 Geneva Lane.
Can I trouble you to just spell your last name just for our benefit?
Sure, Lietza.
Oh, I know that name. Absolutely. Welcome.
My question is, what are you voting on tonight, and where does it leave the annexation process for future? It's my belief that while good intentions of the future planning for this land as revenue source for the city is well intended, that the zoning ordinances were way outdated for the types of facilities that could be forced through under those circumstances. And that as part of the general zoning performance...
Well, we're going to wait till you get back to the podium, Mr. Litza, until you continue talking.
As part of the general performance standards, it recognizes that and says that the performance standards can still be found unworthy of the city's uses, and that, I'm going to read it to you. The performance standards set forth herein are deemed representative of minimum requirements, and compliance herein shall constitute a prima facie satisfaction of the use requirements. However, at recognizing that special and unforeseen circumstances may create situations in which one or more standards are insufficient or insufficiently restrictive, or definitively which are necessary desirable standard is missing. And any and all use shall, in the event, comply with whatever standards are necessary and reasonable to ensure the creation of an environment in which use is a credit to other and investment and well-designed, maintained facilities and grounds is secured by the maintenance of highly reasonable standards throughout the district, in which the use shall be in keeping with the character of the district and shall not be detrimental to the orderly or harmonious development and maintenance of the city as a whole and nearby districts, and in which the uses are established and maintained in a manner consistent with the surrounding areas by compliance of those requirements necessary to prevent, abate a nuisance to others and to promote public health and safety. Our zoning standards don't take into account the hybrid of different kinds of facilities. Mr.
Litza, if I may, sir,
Sure.
We are here tonight in the
agree.
public hearing realm regarding this project and this project alone. This is not the time, respectfully, to discuss either the comp plan or any related or ancillary land uses. It is only to discuss this particular annexation agreement.
Then I'll stop there and ask, what would the future annexation ideas be put forward, and what are you voting on tonight?
What we are voting on tonight, Mr. Litza and ladies and gentlemen, is the annexation agreement before you, which was provided, obviously, as all of you know, and heard and discussed at the Planning and Zoning Commission, etc., but only this body, only the City Council can actually approve an annexation agreement. So what we're discussing tonight is the 270,000 square foot proposed Geneva Farms North development, period. Within that annexation agreement, as all of us know, there are elements within that apply to not just land use, but the PUD and so forth. It takes into account the 8 hours and 41 minutes of public testimony before the Planning and Zoning Commission, the nearly 500 pages of documents posted to the website, and the nearly, additional documents posted again on September 23rd. And I dare say to my colleagues on the council, the approximately 111 emails and some odd phone calls or what have you. So it's only about this particular development. We're not talking about anything globally. We're not talking about reopening the comp plan. We're talking specifically, and we only can talk specifically about this development proposal as outlined in the annexation agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Hi, Azure Thill, 623 Lexington Drive.
How do you do?
First of all, thank you to Alderwoman Becky Ruby and Alderman Dean Kilberg, because they have been tremendous sources of support and inspiration and guidance as we have been navigating this whole process. Unfortunately, I'm still really confused about what we're voting on tonight.
Okay.
Are we voting on the project, or are you voting on annexation?
In essence, Mrs. Thill,
Yes.
in essence, they're almost one and the same. And let me explain it this way. The annexation agreement stipulates certain parameters and agreements thereto regarding the ultimate proposal of Geneva Farms North. So for instance, if this council, based on the new information we've all received, votes to deny the annexation agreement, for all practical purposes, there is no reason to even vote on the 3 other elements further in the agenda. It pretty much puts this matter to bed.
Okay.
That's it. It's as simple as that, really. So,
Because my concern actually does deal with the annexation agreement, specifically Section 3B in the annexation agreement.
okay,
That has several lines that's been crossed out and rewritten a couple times, but from what I can read, it says, quote, concurrent with the execution of this annexation agreement, the city agrees to enact valid and binding ordinances and resolutions.
right.
Except for then they refer to the Exhibit C, which talks about the PUD ordinances, and that is missing. So it is not made available to the general public, so we cannot review the PUD ordinances that it sounds like you are voting on tonight.
No, the PUD ordinance is already published and online. The only thing that has changed from October 4 to tonight is some of the language in the annexation agreement. The PUD ordinance has not changed.
Okay, so
At all.
then for the PUD ordinances as specific to this project,
Yes.
then we have to go back to the minutes from, or to the agenda from 2 weeks ago. In which case we can look at the project and we can see them go through the PUD ordinances, and in about half of them ask for exceptions to those PUD ordinances.
Right.
So I guess as the public, we don't know where we should stand on this, because there's so many balls up in the air and we still are unclear on what you're voting on, and does that involve the changes that have been made or these proposed
Good question.
exceptions to the PUD ordinances that have not been clarified for us?
The short answer is on all of it. And Attorney Sandak or Mr. Finson can chime in, or even Mr. DeGroot, our Community Development Director. The annexation agreement touches on all those.
A vote on annexation, a denial of annexation
Right.
is essentially a denial of the project,
Exactly,
Mayor.
which I explained. So the only material changes, as I would define, from the annexation agreement October 4 to tonight, as all of us know in this room, was a consideration of the tree fund and prohibiting truck traffic egress from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Everything else is, if I may, mostly cosmetic. Some of the language with respect to ordinances talks about what we as a city can do with respect to enforcing street movements, all that kind of good stuff.
There were a lot of timetables that were changed in this change from 2 weeks ago to now, though, too. A lot of things that went from 120 days down to 90 days down to concurrently. And so I guess I would say until all this gets straightened out, I think that as a public, we would ask you to say no to this annexation.
That's
Obviously. And
Obviously, yeah.
honestly, and again, I don't mean to go into what else could happen, but maybe we should consider tabling all annexations until we work
can't do
out.
that. We can't do that, Mrs. Thill.
Okay.
We simply cannot do that. That would be illegal based on the parameters set up by the state of Illinois and the city of Geneva.
Okay. Well, then I guess then as the public, we're asking you to please say no to this annexation.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have someone, oops, excuse me. I think it does matter. Just to clarify, ladies and gentlemen, 12D, as in David, on your agenda, members of the City Council, 12D of the agenda, which is online, addresses specifically those PUD elements that Mrs. Thill just spoke of, or queried about, if you will. If nobody objects, we're going to, yes, Alderman Maladra?
So I have a question. So Ron,
Actually, Mr. Maladra, this is a public hearing still.
that's true.
So we're going to keep this only available to our residents and our,
All right.
we have someone online who'd like to participate in the public hearing, and I will defer to City Administrator Dawkins to manage that connection.
Michelle Rathman, you've been unmuted, so you can unmute yourself on your end and you're free to speak.
Oh, wow, thank you. I hope you all can hear me. Yes, someone
Yes, we
nod?
can. Yes,
That'd
we
be
can.
great. Oh, thank you. Mayor Burns, I want to thank you for giving me your time last week when I was traveling in our COVID camper, as I call it. We are with you tonight in spirit and here present online. As you all know, I've been, and as my husband, very active in becoming informed and enlightened about this project that will have a grave impact. I don't say a great, for a reason, impact on our community. I have been involved in ways that I never imagined. I've been in Geneva for 15 years. I recognize tonight has a very specific purpose, and I think therefore my words have a very specific intent that I thank you, Mayor Burns, and the rest of the City Council, to Becky and Dean. I owe you a debt of gratitude for your deep commitment that you showed us from that first time we met in a park on a Saturday morning, asking questions that you could not answer. To everyone there tonight in our community, I am grateful for your presence and presence of mind to become educated. I think what needs to be said tonight is that we don't object progress. We don't object a project. We understand the project before us. We understand the annexation of that property comes first. From there, your good judgment to allow this to be annexed to a light industrial classification 1 property, and from there to hand this over to a developer who would show us measures of trust that this property would be used appropriately for this purpose. And I can safely say that over time, this has not been the evidence before us. I have so many questions, and that is the point. More questions have been asked than answered. We, as a community, have band together. Members of our community have traveled to Joliet with our own older people to take drone footage of what is proposed. It might be nice to package all this under the guise of a particular item on your agenda, but let's be clear on this. It's more than that. We are talking about an annexation and a rezoning that would allow for thousands of truck trips a week, that many more in cars, emissions, diesel, noise, beeps, 24/7 operations. With Mayor Burns, if I may say, and do respect our conversation, a problem that we have in this community around truck trafficking is enforcement. We have that evidence on the other side of Geneva Drive with trucks parked on both sides, all the trash, all the noise, all the disruption, now at the front door of communities that this city, in my opinion, should be more concerned with than a developer that came to us in May of 2021 with documentation that pushed for it to be advanced strategically without community involvement. So I'm just going to say this. We are not coming at this with a resolve to not have progress. We understand that your, as you cite, 2003 comprehensive plan involved industrial development, but never did we imagine a cross-docking truck terminal by an organization who tonight pulled out. So this should be no debate. Let's understand. We are debating ourselves on a project that the developer has abandoned. Thank you for your time.
No. Anyone else online before we turn to our friends in the audience?
No, sir.
No, sir? No. Anyone else present this evening? Again, we're talking about the annexation agreement. We ask that you be, let me think of the word here.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, Matthew
Oh, that's
Lutz.
okay. Actually, you scare me. So
I live at 649 Nicole Lane in Geneva.
Welcome.
I would just like to make it known that while Miss Michelle was talking, this man right here was laughing at her.
Well, sir, you know what? Guess
And
what?
that is
Sir,
complete
Stop.
disrespect.
Number one, no, stop. I did not prepare my entire preamble. I did not read my entire preamble, because in it would have been, all comments should be directed to the chair. We're not here to impugn anyone tonight. I can guarantee you there might be some folks, if not in this room, perhaps online or were online, that might have different opinions. What's most important to me is that everyone in the room, irrespective of your position, is treated respectfully. So I know it's sometimes a difficult task. So I recognize and applaud everyone's passion on that, but I want people to tune into this meeting in the days and weeks and months ahead and said, despite some contention, Geneva knows how to have discussion without lack of decorum. So that'd be cool. So, but you still scare me. So what the? Are you a Marine? What is that shirt?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else is not that big and brawn? Again, we're talking about the annexation agreement, madam. Welcome.
I think so.
Well, doggone it, I'll let you know.
I'm still a little bit confused, and if I didn't clarify it for myself, it would still keep me up
Quite
at
all
night.
right.
So, I'm Becky Mitstarfer.
I'm sorry?
Becky Mitstarfer.
Becky, good evening.
668 Nicole Lane.
Excellent.
Okay.
You live next to that guy?
I do. The bearded guy? Yes. But he has 2 lovely children and a really cute dog that my dog was going bananas at this morning. Even though he was just sitting there so calmly.
Yeah, dogs are not part of the annexation agreement. So
No, thank goodness, because then you'd really get some pissed off residents.
Boy.
Okay. All right. So the annexation, and please just indulge me.
The floor is yours.
The annexation is to take the property and bring it into the city of Geneva?
Yes.
Is that what annexation means?
That's correct.
Then the zoning to make it from RR, rural residential, to I1 is a separate deal.
Separate yet linked.
Okay.
So
well,
the annexation agreement addresses not only the underlying zoning, the land use, and the PUD.
Okay, now I may be saying some stuff I'm not supposed to talk about at this time, but I understand that the redlined version of the latest annexation agreement that was posted, a little bit ago, so that we could all see what was changed.
Mm-hmm.
But some of those modifications, weren't they specifically for this Amazon cross-dock applicant? So the additional trees and...
Yes, they all were related to the developer's request, which is Crow Holdings.
Okay.
And their tenant. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so if we were to approve this new and improved annexation document, how are we saying no to the applicant that walked away?
Well, if I may, Becky?
Yeah, just explain it to me like I'm 5.
No, God, no. No, not at all, no, because I'm just gonna fire this off, okay?
Go ahead.
And the council knows this. Alderman Maladra specifically knows this because he asked this question today of Director of Community Development DeGroot. Now, let the record show that Becky said if this is approved. If this is approved, Becky, this city council would have very little, if any, authority to vote no on either the zoning or the PUD or any other issue related to. Because in the annexation agreement, with an affirmative vote, we're saying all that's contained therein and related thereto, we approve. So our items almost become housekeeping in a sense. So that's why a no vote tonight, hypothetically speaking, means that we have discharged any consideration of those other items and no need to even address them.
But we're not saying, if we say no to this annexation, we're not saying that we're changing it to an I-1 distinguishment later, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, the land is not, the land will not be brought into the city of Geneva. Anyone else who has interest in perhaps developing that site, whether it be, if I may.
They just start over.
They start over, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to clarify again, and I think I got my questions answered.
Sure.
But the original October 4th council meeting, the annexation agreement that was included in that information said that this is upon annexation, blah, 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 classified as I-1 light industrial with a special use for the PUD to the provision 11.7C.36. Okay. But if we look at the one that is just recently put out there, it's not highlighted as redlined, which was always my understanding of when you change something, you're supposed to highlight it and redline it. I don't know, I haven't worked for a year or so, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But it specifically says, again, the same sentence, except upon annexation of the subject realty to the city, shall be zoned by the city and classified as I-1 light industrial with a special use for plan unit development pursuant to the provisions of 11.7B versus 11.7C. And maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm just, but again, again, to what someone else had said,
sure.
Amazon or the applicant or whoever, they've walked away, but we're still dealing with the people that have kind of been changing what they call things from the get-go.
That is
So, again, not anti-light industrial.
I understand.
Not anti-trucks, not even anti-Amazon, God forbid. But feeling not so comfortable with the almost purposeful muddiness that we have seen from this developer so far. And that's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping.
Anyone online, City Administrator Dawkins? That's okay.
No one is raising their hand.
Anyone else in the audience? How are you?
Very good.
Good.
Hi, my name's Joy Baez, and I am just asking, I have one question. Okay, is there another town, if we do not annex it, that property, plus I do know there's another property.
But we can't talk about that, right?
Okay, right, but I'm talking about that property. If we don't annex it to Geneva, is there a possibility that either West Chicago or St. Charles can annex it into their city?
Short answer is no.
Good. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Sir, you've already spoken, so whoever has not yet spoken, we invite you back, or we invite you to the podium. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Hendrik Reich.
Hey, Hendrik, how are you, man?
Good.
This guy's taking motorcycle lessons.
Yeah, that's
how scary
right.
is that?
Try to not think about this for a while. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. As the annexation agreement that you're going to vote on, as I understand it, it's a package deal and tied to this project.
Yes, sir.
I ask you to vote no. That way we can clear the path for something new and something better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry about calling you out on the motorcycle training, man.
Didn't break anything. So.
That's good. That's good. There is someone online, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to recognize that individual.
Okay. Sarah, R-I-E-C-K is the last name. You have been unmuted.
I think I know who this is.
Please feel free to speak once you unmute yourself.
The floor is yours, Sarah.
It says you are self-muted, Sarah, so you need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, I had technical difficulty there. I would just like you guys to vote no on the annexation agreement and just keep in mind how much our community has come together to show our wishes for any future projects.
Thank you very much.
That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience regarding the annexation agreement? And just for the record, we are annexing St. Charles. So just, yes, sir. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, everyone. Matthew Karras, I'm a local real estate attorney, 1620 Salem Court. Recently moved to the area. When I graduated law school over 10 years ago, I can't believe it's that long now, I always said if I want to stay in Illinois, it's going to be in the Fox River Valley area. There's no place better. It's perfect in every single way. We're a destination city. I love that everyone comes to visit us. Other than that, I've started my practice here, built it up, been doing very well, and could not expect a better place to do it. So I am very appreciative of all that the city and the whole area has to offer. Beyond that, just recently got married to my beautiful wife, Julia.
Good Lord, man, it's like a commercial. This is exciting. It's like...
Well, I butter you up and then I'm going to tear you down. So,
let the record show.
Everyone, and especially everyone that's already spoken, has had such an impact, I think, on all of us here tonight. They've hit all the technical notes, all the emotional notes. I just want to bring a personal aspect to this that I don't think is really being thought about here. We are the people that live here. Salem Court, whether you know it or not, we are half a block from where this is going to happen. We already have enough noise, pollution, congestion.
Just to clarify, sir, it's where this is proposed to occur?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you,
Just
Mayor.
so that we're not
Absolutely.
definitive statements or declarative statements that are misunderstood. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. So where this is proposed to occur, I encourage you to vote no. A personal matter to keep in mind is this is where I want to raise my family. There's no question about that. People die when there is an increase in traffic, especially truck traffic. There is no question about that. And I ask you each to please remember, and I do this with a very heavy heart, to remember Mr. Fowler from earlier this spring that died tragically at Geneva and Kirk Road due to running into the back of a truck. When that happens, no one wins. Extra truck traffic, it doesn't matter. You cannot put a price on human life. The price of my child is going to be priceless. And with this extra truck traffic, you just can't fathom what I am feeling. Having seen that, getting married 2 months later, and now starting my family, I'm landlocked in Illinois. I don't want to take the bar again. So I'm stuck here. And for better or for worse, I'm going to be here. My voice is going to be heard, and I will be very involved in this city for the rest of my life. Thank you for hearing me.
A quick question for you, Mr. Karras, before
Yes,
you
sir.
step aside. You said you're planning to have a family? Is there an announcement to be made tonight, or is there something?
No, there is not.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you. We have a caller joining us, longtime listener, first-time caller.
Carl Batchke, you have been unmuted. You may unmute yourself and begin.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor Burns and City Council. Regarding the annexation agreement, I do want to point you all to page 11 of the annexation agreement, item I. And this is related to the installation of a four-way traffic signal at the new intersection of Geneva Drive and Kirk Road. And the proposal for the annexation agreement, again, I realize we're talking about the annexation agreement, is that if and when approved by the Kane County Division of Transportation, KDOT, the traffic signal, collectively called Geneva Drive Improvements, provided, however, that if KDOT does not concurrently approve, actually approved, but that spelling is incorrect, the installation of such traffic signal, the developer shall escrow with the city or KDOT the estimated cost of such signal installation, but on the condition that if said signal is not approved and installed within, and there's a blank on the redlined October 12th annexation agreement, but it says years following the issuance of a certificate of occupancy by the city as to the substantially conforming development, the funds in said escrow shall be returned to the developer, and the developer shall be relieved of any further obligations as to said traffic signal. So this is in the annexation agreement. And what they're saying is in direct contradiction to what the developer said at the P&Z meeting, that this project could not and would not go forward without a traffic light. And here they're saying it could be years after the annexation and project before the traffic signal would go in. And by the way, if X number of years, whatever someone wrote in that area, was not accomplished, the city would be on the hook for paying for the traffic signal, not the developer. So I oppose this annexation because it means that KDOT, we know how fast KDOT can move, they're like IDOT, has to work concurrently with the project. And I don't believe that there will be a traffic signal at Geneva Drive and Kirk Road when this facility is up and running. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to clarify, again, ladies and gentlemen, the proposed facility, no declarative statements with respect to that this is a done deal. I just don't want anyone to leave the room assuming that what they've heard perhaps is incongruous to what might be considered later. So, anyone else in the audience? I can hear you breathing. No, just kidding. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing. So moved. Motion by Alderman Marks.
Second.
Seconded by, forgive me.
You can give it to Mayor.
Alderman Mayor. All in favor of closing the public hearing on this item, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The public hearing is closed, ladies and gentlemen. We will continue on with the agenda. Item 4, folks, amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments to be considered or offered tonight by the City Council? Item 5 is the Omnibus agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are considered to be routine by this council, can be considered and voted upon with one motion. Is there such a motion? Alderman Swanson makes that motion.
Second.
Alderman Bruno makes that second. Forgive me, Alderwoman Burke. Any questions or comments regarding the Omnibus agenda? Sensing none, seeing none. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Bruno? Aye. Burkhart?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Caven?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Kasserag?
Aye.
Maladra?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Item 5 has been approved with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item number 10, ladies and gentlemen, municipal bills for payment. We kindly ask our city clerk to read the bills in their aggregate for our consideration.
Total bills are $2,344,949.14.
Mayor, I move that we approve and pay the bills as read. The individual items that add up to that amount can be found in tonight's City Council packet on the city website.
Alderman Bruno makes a motion to pay the bills as presented, which are also available on the City Council packets and available on the city's website. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderwoman Burkhart. Any questions? Any comments? Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Burkhart?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Caven?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Kasserag?
Aye.
Maladra?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
The municipal bills for payment have been approved with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. According to my scorecard, we head to presentations of ordinances, resolutions, petitions, and bids. Item 12A, ladies and gentlemen. Consider ordinance number 2021-27, authorizing the execution of an annexation agreement by and among CHI Acquisitions Limited Partnership and the City of Geneva. Is there a motion to put this on the floor?
So moved.
Alderman Marks, Alderman Kilberg makes the second. This matter is on the floor for discussion by and only by the City Council. Questions? Alderman Bruno.
Thank you, Mayor. This is really just a process. This annexation is clearly moot because the language is tied to a project that is evaporated. But does voting against I-1 for this in any way in the future color
no, sir.
Other developers? No. Okay.
And just, ladies and gentlemen, tuning in and joining us live, it's customary for the City of Geneva to put motions in the affirmative. So the motion is to approve as opposed to the motion reading disapprove. We put things in the affirmative. So a aye vote means you approve the annexation. A no vote means you deny the annexation. But to your point, this does not in any way, shape, or form affect any other potential annexation considerations.
Mr. Mayor, just a clarification.
Oh, forgive me.
Sorry. No, just, so on 12A, which is what's under consideration, is the authorizing the execution of the annexation agreement, and that's significant because the authorization of the annexation agreement per statute requires a 2/3 majority. Right. The authorization of the ordinance for the annexation is a simple majority. So it is important that we deal with the first things first.
Alderman Mayor?
So on that front, are we going to be voting on any of the other ones then, or are we just?
All I can say, oh, forgive me, Mr. Attorney. Oh.
Yes. All the items are on the agenda.
We have to vote down each one.
I would go down each one. Yes.
We no longer have any applicant here, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
No, let's. Go ahead.
You still have an applicant. What you don't have is the end user that this PUD was designed for.
You could.
Okay. Now let me clarify, Alderman Mayor. It is the chair's recommendation, ladies and gentlemen, that should item 12A be voted down, that we remove the other items related to 12A from the agenda. No sense taking roll call votes on all of those, since they are so intertwined, and quite frankly, the action to defeat those, presumably, has already been taken in 12A. That would be my recommendation.
That would make it a lot clearer.
Okay. And that's consistent with what I said to the audience earlier. Alderman Maladra?
Okay, so we've talked twice about what happens if we vote no, but if we vote yes.
If we vote yes, we continue down the agenda with B.
Except for our ability to modify anything in B, C, and D is severely limited, if there at all, because what we've agreed to in the annexation agreement. So these are formalities. They fall like dominoes to a yes vote.
Yes.
In essence, yes, sir.
Okay, so we've got to be clear on that. What we're doing, and I'm guessing the applicant, who's a developer, is still looking to build this thing. Tenant A has walked away. Tenant A may come back, or Tenant B may show up, proposing the same use. So what we're voting on is not just bring this land into Geneva. We're voting on whether or not we support this use in this specific location. Correct?
Under the...
No.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
You're voting on this annexation agreement. You're not prejudging anything else that might come before you in the future. It's just this annexation agreement.
Right, but this annexation agreement carries with it approval of a use.
Right, but you're going to take it you're going to take it, if it comes before us, if something new if another use were to come before the city, right? It's a different application. That application is going to go through the same process.
Well, what about their use?
I'm just saying, if a different application comes before, if it starts over, the process starts over.
Right, but if it doesn't, then this thing gets built.
No.
No.
Okay, so now I'm totally confused.
No, there would be no reason for this proposed facility to be built by this developer, CHI Acquisitions, because this is not the type of facility to build on spec. This is a very specifically designed facility to serve the tenant. And if the tenant says, we're out, I can't imagine a developer saying, I'll build it as is and see what the hell happens.
Okay, so then the safest way to ensure a proposal starts over is to vote no.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. On the annexation agreement, ladies and gentlemen, item 12A. Anyone else, questions, comments from the dais?
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. But before I recognize Alderman Mayor for a second time, anyone else who has not yet spoken wish to speak? Alderman Mayor.
So Crow Holdings is still interested in the property, but they want to pull they don't want this PUD application.
We can't speculate on whether or not they are or aren't.
But this particular application contains within it the benefit of the signals being paid for and the one-way traffic and all of that as well. That will be gone. And when we see the next project, it's not going to necessarily have that.
Exactly.
So so I'm going to vote no. It's okay.
This is a huge whiteboard, ladies and gentlemen. Should the council choose to vote no on the annexation, all the material on that whiteboard heretofore is erased. God, I am old. I should have said chalkboard. It's like
Play tablet.
Smartboard. Smartboard, yeah, good Lord. Anyone else from the dais? On item 12A, the annexation agreement? Are we clear with respect to what an aye vote and what a nay vote means? An aye vote means that you support the annexation agreement as presented. A nay or no vote means you do not. 2/3 of the corporate authority, which means 8 of the 11 members present, including me, have the privilege and responsibility of voting on this item. Mr. City Clerk, whenever you're ready, sir, please take the roll.
Ruby.
Nay.
Caven.
Nay.
Kilberg.
Nay.
Kasserag.
Nay.
Maladra.
Nay.
Marks.
Nay.
Mayor.
Nay.
Swanson.
Nay.
Bruno.
Nay.
Burkhart.
Nay.
Burns.
Nay. Our next item of business, ladies and gentlemen, is to declare Dairy Queen free for the remainder of the evening. I would ask for a motion to remove items 12B, 12C, and 12D from the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Oh, Alderman Mayor makes the motion, Alderman Marks makes the second. Any questions or comments regarding that request? Or motion, excuse me. All in favor of removing item 12B as in boy, C as in Charlie, and D as in David, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to that action, please say no. Those items have been removed from the agenda and not needed to address. Item 13, ladies and gentlemen, new business. We always turn to our guests in the audience. Is there any new business you'd like to present, share with the council and the community who is tuning in? Anything at all? From the dais, anyone? Oh, yep, we have 2 folks online. Anyone wishing to address under new business?
Lindsay McCall, you have your hand raised. You've been unmuted if you wish to make comment. Lindsay, you're still self-muted. If you don't wish to, okay, hand down. Place your hand down if you don't wish to be recognized.
Ms. McCall's hand was lowered, so
No, it's
we will
still
move
there.
on. Oh, it's still there? Excuse me, it's still there? She's self-muted?
Michelle Rathman, you've been unmuted. You may speak.
This is under new business, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ms. Rathman? Okay. Last chance, anyone from the dais? If not, ladies and gentlemen, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this city council meeting. Alderman Caven makes that motion. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The city council meeting is adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. The committee of the whole meeting for this evening, October the 18th, 2021, is called to order. Let the record show that all the committee members are present. Number 2, folks, approve committee of the whole minutes from September 7, 2021 and October 4, 2021. Alderman Kosrog makes the motion. Alderman Kilberg makes the second. Any questions, any comments? All in favor of approving those minutes, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Unanimous. Items of business, folks. Item 3A, consider draft resolution authorizing a declaration of surplus property for miscellaneous police department personnel, no, equipment. Sorry. Is there a motion to so declare? Alderman Kosterog, thank you, sir. Seconded by Alderman Mayor. Questions or comments? Ms. Dawkins, do you have
Again,
any?
this is basically housekeeping. We're declaring various equipment that is either obsolete at end of life, broken, or otherwise not usable as surplus.
Sounds like my health. A voice vote is sufficient at the committee of the whole, folks. All in favor of this item?
I don't think we get a motion.
We did. We got a motion from Kosterog, or Mayor?
Yeah, Kosterog and Mayor.
Yeah, Kosterog and Mayor. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Item B, consider draft resolution authorizing the execution of a tax increment financing redevelopment agreement with Rigonato Old World Grill at 700 and 720 East State Street.
So moved.
Alderman Kilberg makes the motion. Ooh. Alderman Mayor gets the second. Ms. Dawkins?
Actually, I'm going to turn it over to Economic Development Director Kathleen Timoshenko, and she's going to give you a brief presentation.
Director Timoshenko. A little closer, Kathleen, if I may trouble you to the mic. I think that's awesome.
So Rigonato's at 700 710 East State Street is before you this evening for a request for a public-private partnership for TIF 2. So they acquired the property in 2008, the current owner, and if you recall, it was the Rib House. And a PUD was approved in 2009, and a lot of work was done to the property, almost $700,000 worth of renovations, including acquisition costs. It included retrofitting the structure and reducing the number of access driveways, creating a new parking lot. It was a mud lot when they first had it. Creation of one unified zoning lot, the demolition of a barn, and there was a requirement to take down the one-story retail building that housed me and Dad's toys. The project was completed, but for that one remaining item. I have some before and after pictures for you, just to refresh your memories of what was there. So in 2013, the City Council amended the Plan Unit Development Ordinance and extended the timeline for the demolition of the building. They also allowed the authorization to add a rear deck modification and enclosing that area for more customers and reducing the number of required parking spaces for that new enclosed area. So today, the owners are before us asking for assistance with the remaining project costs for the demolition of that one-story building and the restoration of the parking that goes along with it. So they are recognizing that they need to complete the project to comply with the plan unit development requirements. At the same time, it's a difficult financial project because they're losing revenue from the rental of that structure, and they're gaining very few parking spaces in turn. The total cost of that project, this aspect of the project, is $46,600. So when we look at the project as a whole, it meets a lot of the city's redevelopment objectives and goals that are outlined in the TIF 2 plan. It helps to reduce the blight and the conditions that qualified the area for conservation. It will encourage a better appearance along the right-of-way when East State Street gets moving forward. It will encourage the original project encouraged the rehab of building and adaptive reuse. The original project helped to assemble land into one unified lot, which is a big goal of the redevelopment project. So the recommendation before you in the redevelopment agreement is to reimburse 50% of the costs of the demo and site work, so the total cost of the inducement would be $23,300. So if you look at the project as a whole, that amount of reimbursement is less than 5% of the total investment if you include acquisition. The increment paid to date on the property does exceed the proposed incentive amount, and it will even pay for itself and the EAV that was collected on the structure that will be demolished as this phase of the project. So the increment will no longer be there when the TIF expires, so the EAV will be reduced in the long run, but the project has already paid for itself through the increment collected. So that is the recommendation before you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Questions or comments for the director? Alderman Kosarog, sir.
Thank you. So the building to be demolished is the toy store, right?
Yes.
And is that a different building than Mexican restaurant and I don't know what else is in there, even though they're kind of connected?
No, the building's actually already gone. It is the building that's shown in this photo here.
That's gone?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But the rest of, everything else is still there.
Okay. Maybe that's where I'm confused. Okay.
They back up to each other. There was no space in between.
Gotcha. And then...
Oh, floor is yours.
Okay. Can I ask why the applicant isn't here tonight?
Mr. Malad, your microphone, sir.
He knew that the distribution center was first up, and nobody had any idea how long that would last. So he asked Alderman Swanson and I if he needed to attend, and we told him no.
Okay. Very good. Fair enough on that one. Thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Swanson, then Alderman Kilberg.
I just wanted to state that they've done a wonderful job creating a nice restaurant with a nice appearance, and they really do need the parking. Even on a Monday night, you can't find a parking space, so this is a win, I think, for the community. So I just wanted to put in a plug that the parking spaces are necessary. They've done a nice job, so I support this. Thank you.
Alderman Kilberg, sir.
Jimmy and Nick have done an outstanding job. They built a business. Their lots filled almost every night. And actually, it's a safety consideration to add these additional parking slots because they're currently parking customers in the wood lot across the street on the north side. So we have customers that are running across 4 lanes of traffic at night to and from the restaurant. And that is a safety consideration. So I think this is turned into somewhat of an anchor on the east side. It's visited by residents really from across town as well as out of town. They're both dedicated to our community. They support organizations like the Geneva Community Chest. They're a good partner. I think we need to support them as well.
Alderman Mayor.
Oh my God.
I thought you were Lily Tomlin over there doing some.
No, so I love Rigonato. I think it's a great restaurant. I think that they've done a beautiful job with what I guess used to be a good restaurant. I never went to the Rib House, but I hear so. But I love going to Rigonato's, and they have great catering. I met with the guy that owns the former toy store there. He's up in the other strip mall now with his Collector's Kid store, which is a great place to take your 8-year-old on a Saturday morning, spend a lot of money. But they took this building down themselves, the $23,000. He was telling me about pulling down the lumber out of it. And from my perspective, demoing a structure like that for $23,000 is a great deal for the city that they're asking for half. And the pavement obviously looks about right too. So I totally think we should give them this help.
Alderman Bruno.
Thank you, Mayor. Unless I missed something, so what we're paying for, and they're just looking for simple pavement. There's no other improvements like facade on the side where the demo building is. This is just hard pavement.
The project consists of two things: the costs, the reimbursable costs for the demolition of the building, and then the reimbursable costs for the site restoration, which includes the paving of the new parking spaces, some curbing. That is what is included in the entire project, and we're proposing.
No ivy-colored wall or covered wall or
No.
anything, okay.
No.
And for the record, great restaurant, great addition to the east side, so, thanks.
Anyone else? Anyone not like the restaurant?
I feel like we're doing like a Yelp review here.
I know, it's incredible.
I love the ricotta stuffed meatballs myself.
Why don't we just order something now and have the discussion? We have a motion and a second on this item, which is item B as in boy. A voice vote is appropriate. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That item has been unanimously adopted and will be advanced to the council. New business, folks. First, I'll check with Stephanie. Anybody online? No. Okay. From the dais. Yes, sir.
We have a retreat coming up in a few weeks. I just was wondering if there'd be an opportunity for members of the council to submit some topics to be covered during the course of the retreat in November. Excuse me.
I just stated that we have a retreat coming up in about 3 weeks, and I just wondered if it might be possible to submit to staff some topics that we'd like to touch on over the course of the day as well. I don't know if any other aldermen had anything that they'd like to potentially include, but I'd had a few things that, and then the council, if you don't think it's germane, then we can just move right over them. But I thought it would be good to at least have an opportunity for the council to provide some input into the development of the agenda.
I wouldn't mind throwing some ideas out there.
Me too.
Can we just ask that we set a deadline for that so that we have time to get everything together? So
You set it, and we'll
okay,
honor it.
I'll send you all an email and give you a firm deadline, just for planning purposes.
Sure. Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the committee of the whole meeting. Alderman Swanson makes the motion. All in favor, please indicate by saying, let's go to Reganato's. Say aye. We are adjourned, folks.